Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the show. I appreciate you joining me today. Today's video is going to be about the greatest scam in workforce history, which is work-life balance. You've been lied to. Work-life balance isn't noble. It's a distraction, and it's really meant to keep you down from living whatever life you choose to live. So while on the onset, this video might seem like it's only for the high achiever and only hustle culture. No. Not at all. What I'm going to propose is work-life integration, and that starts with your vision of your life. And then you ask, how do I achieve that? So whether you are somebody who wants to say, hey, I'm cool with the average American salary of $70,000 a year or $60,000 a year and continuing to make that for the remainder of my life so that I have as much time as possible or as much freedom as possible or to invest in something else that I'm more passionate about, whatever. Or you're someone who's like, you know what? I want to be a centimillionaire or a billionaire, build something great, drive immense value. It doesn't matter. Okay. That is really what things are about. Work life balance has a very, very negative origin and root. So it really goes back to the Industrial Revolution. And that's where the 9 to 5 workforce comes from, is from my understanding, is that it really started in Henry Ford and manufacturing and the assembly line. And when there was, spikes of either burnout or people that were not finding purpose in that schedule or didn't like it, then it kind of shifted into HR and kind of the people orientation side when that started to happen, to pushing this as balance. Hey, you're only working 9 to 5 Monday through Friday so that you have the time to spend with your family or to do this. And it really puts you in a spot of dichotomy that if I am either working more, I am out of balance, or if I'm not working 40 hours a week, I'm out of balance, or if I feel imbalanced, then I'm doing something wrong. None of those are correct, right? So like I said, I want to really stress the concept of work life integration, not balance, because it's not about this perfectly balanced teeter totter. Toss that out the window. Toss comparing the amount of hours and output of work and the amount of hours and output of life, and simply ask yourself, what life do you want for yourself? When you imagine your life over the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and if that's too much for you to do, then answer, what does your life look like a year from now, or 2 years from now, or 6 months from now? Then reverse engineer the solution. Here's the outcome, right? Again, I want to make $60,000 a year. I want to go on my 2 vacations a year. Don't care about traveling internationally. I'm cool with, maybe exploring the 50 states or seeing the coolest things here. Or if you're in Europe, right, I'm cool with my $60,000 a year. And, I want to train ride to every country in Europe, whatever it might be. And then say, okay, how much does that cost? What skills do I need? What skills am I passionate about developing, right? Then you reverse engineer and ask the questions about, how do I achieve this outcome? And sometimes that means you're going to work more. Sometimes that means you're going to work less. Sometimes it means you're going to have to constantly adapt yourself and learn new skills and be a lifelong student. And sometimes it means that you can, you know what? I'm going to pick this one niche and I'm going to do this niche for as long as I can. Okay. This whole lie around work-life balance is just incorrect. And there's lots of different thought leaders on this if you don't care to listen to myself, but listen to, Naval Ravikant or Peter Drucker or Alex Hormozy or Cal Newport. And at times it can sound like some of them are advocating for hustle culture, but really they're just advocating for, what's the end game? How do you get the end game? Now go, right? And that also will help you prevent the burnout, because studies have shown time and time again that burnout is not caused by the quantity of work that you do, but is instead caused by what work you are doing. Do you believe in it? Is it fulfilling you? Are you getting the end result of what you desire? And if you say, my end result desire is, you know what, I want to be, middle class, upper middle class, have a nice house, white picket fence, and I want to have it in this location, that's going to cost me, $100,000 a year. I can achieve $100,000 a year, even adjusting for inflation in the future with this particular realm of skill set. And so that's going to be what interests me and what I'm going to go for. And if you are seeing the results in life that you want coming out of the plan that you've built, you're not going to be burned out, right? Because you're getting your give and take. On the where burnout really comes from is a misalignment of expectation and reality. And if that's happening, then you need to ask yourself, what is wrong about my plan? Right? It's you trying to achieve this perfect, again, teeter-totter balance is what is going to lead you to be unhappy. Right? Like desire, I forget who said this, but desire is a contract that you sign on to be unhappy until you get said thing. So if you're trying to desire this balance between work and life, which I promise you is impossible, and instead shift to going, well, how do I make my work achieve my outcome? And as you are working, you are achieving your outcome. You're not going to get burnt out. You're going to keep driving. You're going to keep going. You're going to focus on doing that. And this, it's just something that really, really grinds my gears, for lack of a better phrase, right? It is just people don't realize the cost of work-life balance. And I think my generation, as the millennial generation, is the worst victim of this concept that we were sold, hey, you only want to work your 40 hours and call it a day, or you want to work your 45 and that's about it. And that, that way you have the remaining hours of your life to do what actually matters. Who is anyone else to tell you what matters? Right. And so by you trying to achieve someone else's imposition of work-life balance, it's really going to cost you your mental sanity. It's going to cause you to burn out. It's going to keep you down and average. It's going to cost you to lose to other people consistently. They claim that you're going to get more energy. It claims that you're going to have better relationships, but all of those things are just about inputs. So that's why you need to define the outputs that you want in your life and then determine the inputs to get them. And if that happens to mean I'm going to work less and put more outside of work, great. If that means that you're actually passionate about something that's maybe super high leverage and allows you to accomplish both, great. Right? But you are setting yourself up for disappointment and failure over and over and over again when you keep trying to achieve this balance that just doesn't exist. And all of us deserve nothing. And so it's funny. I will tell you, a little bit about my story and some of my clients. So for me, early on in my career, I knew, so from a technology perspective, you typically start out at like a help desk or desktop support. I knew I wanted to get out of that as fast as possible. I knew people that were in desktop support or in call centers for 3, 5, 6, 7 years, very, very, very commonly. I was out of it in 2. Why? Because I put in 70 hours a week. So I determined, here's the output and lifestyle I wanted out of help desk, out of customer facing. What input do I need to do that? Well, if I work X amount harder, then I should get out of it Y faster. What happened? I didn't double my time, but I cut my time in half from what I saw on average and what I encountered on average. And then I did the same thing again. Hey, I don't want to be at this middle tier of the tech stack, what's called an administrator. I want to be an engineer. How do I do that? Well, this is what worked for me before. Let's maybe try it again. I was out of that realm in 2 more years. I was an engineer, which is the quote unquote kind of top end of the standard IT path without going into leadership, in 5 years, little less than 5 years. Out of high school, no degree, no certifications, no nothing. Just pure on-job experience, work ethic, and killing the game. Some of my best mentors are the same way, that they don't have degrees. They just were like, you know what? I don't care what it takes. I'm going to identify problems. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to overwork. And they got to where they wanted to go. The amount of executives that I know without degrees, quite a few. I know more with degrees, full transparency. Not going to sit here and try to act like that's not the case. But I also know that every single one of the executives that I've met didn't get there by doing 40 hours a week and cutting out. But they wanted more than what that got them. That was the alignment. At the same time, I will be the first to admit, I have met so many people who are content and happy with their entry to mid-level career section and staying there forever. And they're 40, 50, 60 years old, and they're happy with that. I don't understand it. I don't think lesser of them for it. No one else does. No one thinks that they are nothing or thinks that they're lesser than. As long as that is the output they want and they're getting their inputs and they're having that give and take, hell yeah. There is no such thing as trying to achieve someone else's thought concept of balance. I have had people tell me, oh, you don't have enough hobbies or you don't spend enough time on your relationships. And to some degree, the relationship one does bug me a little bit. But that's where I go through seasons of my life where I invest in relationships and seasons of my life where I don't. But when it comes to like the hobby side or that when I'm not working, my life isn't diverse enough. Why does it have to be? I have one general theme of when I'm not working of what I like to do, which is be outside. There are times where I don't do that enough because I'm focusing on something else. And there are times where I do that probably more than I should. And that slows down my growth in that season of life. But again, it's trying to understand that what is the output I'm trying to attain and let me put the input into that. It is integrating inputs and outputs. And if you're not getting the output, then you need to adjust your input. It's not that your balance is wrong. It's not that someone else's judgment of you is correct. That is what causes most burnout and people's unhappiness in the workforce, is that they have this thought process of here's my expectation of what work-life balance should be. And I should be able to work 40 hours a week at an entry-level job and have this life. Okay, you're looking at it wrong. You are going, here's the inputs I'm doing and the outputs I deserve, instead of going, here's the outputs I want, let me research how to get them, right? That is how you actually get outputs. You don't get outputs by assuming the inputs that you are doing gets you those outputs. That's not how life works. That's not how it ever worked. Imagine if you went through school that way, K through 12. Well, I show up to class every day and I do my work assignments, but I don't do homework and I don't take the tests. But I mean, I'm here. I'm assuming that my inputs are enough for the output to graduate. No, right? You look at the output of going, well, okay, I'm okay not being an A plus 100% student. Like, I think I'm going to shoot for like a 90% student. Okay, so that means that you can have 10% failure. You can maybe slack off on some of the homework because you're killing it on tests, or hey, you need to do the homework because you're not right. You figure out the inputs that get you that 90% achievement, and then you do those inputs, and guess what? You get 90%. You don't assume the output based off of your input is deserving enough. That's not for you to decide. And so people just need to really focus on pursuing this alignment. The work-life balance was really designed to keep the workforce down. It was designed to keep you in the assembly line. Think about how human nature or the human society prospered from a Western civilization perspective. It was sun up to sundown, even sometimes earlier than sun up to sundown. It was working until the work was done, day in, day out, every single day. You want to take the extreme example? I'm going to steal this from Alex Hormozy, but I'm not advocating for this in any way. But slavery meant that those people were forced to work 16, 18, 20 hours a day. That means that you are capable of doing so. Is it right? Is it moral, especially under those conditions? Absolutely not. It's abhorrent. But what I'm getting at is we need to figure out the output we want, determine the input, and go, because you are capable of working 20 hours a day, every single day, day in and day out, if you had to. You are also capable of not working at all and living the life that you want, assuming that you're capable of doing so without any money or income. Both extremes are possible. The question is, where do you fall in that giant spectrum? But if you don't determine your outputs, you can never determine your inputs, and you will forever be misaligned. You will forever be unbalanced, and you can't achieve what you want. You will not be fulfilled. That is what leads people to burnout and resentment and negativity towards their job and their workforce and their life, is that they are literally seeking something that's unattainable because they've never defined it. Okay? It's really not that hard. And the biggest thing is when we look at high achievers, I think the biggest mistake that people make is they're like, oh man, like I wish I had, Elon's money or Zuckerberg's money or Bill Gates' money, or I wish I was the entrepreneur of Naval Ravikant. We look at these high achievers, but we're like, well, what did it cost them to get there? Right? I'm going to go back to one of my original videos where you don't become the GOAT at anything unless you are willing to do it at the expense of everything else. So again, you need to determine what is the output that you want. Do you want to be the GOAT at something? Well, that's your one thing and you're doing nothing else. Do you want to be really good at like 5 things? Do you want to be okay at 10 things? Do you just want to experience life and not like you want to experience life at a mile wide and an inch deep? Okay. Now, how do you achieve each of those stages of life? Right? Some of them require you to go balls to the wall. Some of them don't. But that's up to you. And you need to find those outputs for every single aspect of your life. How much money do you want to make? What do you want to do from a travel perspective? How do you want to be from a family perspective? Do you want to be a good husband? Do you want to be a good father? Do you want to just experience? Do you want to live? Do you want to explore space? Like whatever it is, right? Like you need to explore those outputs. Okay. And one thing I glanced over earlier is that there's this lie that's also sold that by doing less, you'll have more energy and you'll be able to commit more. I don't know about you, but I actually have the most energy when I am pushing myself to the limit. And that doesn't mean in one thing, but I'm somebody who I work out 5 to 6 days a week. I work 12 plus hours a day. I cook every single day for my family and my wife. I also get time with my wife from a husband perspective and things like that. Like I literally, from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, like I am committing to a variety of responsibilities. And when I start to actually shrink those things, when I'm like, you know what, like I can slack off on this a little bit, like my energy actually goes down, right? Like your body is a very interesting concept where it determines the resource input and output based off of what you condition it to do. It is ironically the same as working out, right? Like you can't necessarily sit there and go, you know what, I'm going to wake up and go run a marathon unless you train it to run a marathon, right? It goes, oh man, we're doing a high energy output activity. We need to be optimized for energy output. Hey, I can't bench press 300 pounds until you train to do that. And your body then adjusts its resource allocation accordingly, right? Do you think your body is going to be outputting and training more energy when you are trying to reach the goal of bench pressing 300 pounds or when you're just not working out at all, right? Like your body is going to adjust. It's the reason that caloric intake adjusts based off of what your activities are. What are calories other than energy? Right? It's your body literally adapts to how much energy you are putting out. That's how much energy you are going to have and feel. There's another reason why they've also shown study after study after study that simply walking and moving increases your lifespan significantly. Not because it's this crazy healthy weight loss activity, blah, blah, blah. It's actually neurological. Is the less that you move, the closer your brain thinks you are to dying. That's actually what they've shown from a neuroscience perspective, is that your body begins to shut down the less that you use it. What does that mean? You have less energy because it is not trained and conditioned to output more. It's this direct just proportion that people had this giant misconception of, which leads, like I said, to burnout and resentment and negativity and just incapability of realizing that work life balance or balance in life in general is just the wrong approach. It's about integration. So here is your task coming out of this video is I want you to start with what are the outputs that I want when you think from a career perspective, a status perspective, a money perspective, relationships, achievement, experience, etc. Like list this out. List out what it is that you want out of life, right? And I'll give you mine. So my ultimate goal is that I want $10 million in assets. So I'm not necessarily cash, but I want $10 million in assets. I would like to do and experience a new country or a international vacation to maybe a new region of a country on an annual basis. I do want a family. I do want to be good at being that family. Uh, and I would like to either have one of my two career paths in front of me fulfill those things, which is either my IT career path or my entrepreneurship. I really enjoy both. I really enjoy in the leadership side of the equation where I'm at now from a corporate perspective. It is way more fulfilling. And I also enjoy helping other people achieve their career goals better, faster, stronger than I did, than I could, or they could on their own. Like both are so, so fulfilling. And so, yes, splitting my attention is taking away from the other one. But I also think that I am able to do both until I figure out which one is really going to be that long term driving force. Um, and so and then also I would like to continue to experience outdoor activities, which really don't cost me anything. They just cost me time. So that I want a very simple life. I don't want a lot of different things. And while I am somebody who sits here, and like I said, I am doing some sort of commitment, roughly 14 to 16 hours a day, depending on the day. I'm not trying to become a centimillionaire, not even a billionaire, not even close, right? My personal goal, like I said, is at 10 million in assets. Ideally, I have it in the next 6 years or so. That is my ideal goal. And so I've reverse engineered that. Here's my ways of getting this. And I have my diversification asset acquisition concept of what I am doing and growing on both sides of my professional money and income side, right? We'll see if I get there. But even as I am somebody who is trying to get people to push themselves, I myself am not pushing to be the GOAT of anything. I'm not trying to be this number one, again, centimillionaire, billionaire, trillionaire, etc. I'm not trying to revolutionize the world. My role in life is a support. My role in life is to help other people get to where they're looking to go. That is what I'm passionate about. That's what gives me fulfillment. And both of my income paths and income sources that are in front of me right now, between my leadership career on the technology side and my business of career coaching and resume writing, both of those do that. So I love them both. They're both really, really awesome. So I just advocate for you to do the same. Define your outputs and your outcomes that you desire. Reverse engineer what it takes to get there. How much money do you need per year? How much money do you need over time? What skills you need to develop and income that you need to get that money over time? When you define your relationships and the amount of close relationships that you have, do you have the amount of people in your life to achieve the close relationship number period? Or do you need to focus on finding new people and really seeking other people out? Like, it doesn't matter. I'm not here to tell you what that is. I'm not here to tell you to hustle. I am here to tell you to define your vision, reverse engineer how to get there, and go for it. And that is how you integrate your work and your life. You do not balance your work and your life. It is the biggest lie that is keeping you down, keeping you mediocre, keeping you unfulfilled, keeping you out of where you want to go and what your dreams are. You do not need more balance. You simply need more meaning. And if it drains you, then fix the work and the inputs, and that will get you the outputs and remove the burnout from your life. Not working less, not working more. It's about working right and seeing the results of what you are getting and the results that matter. But you won't know what results matter unless you define the results that matter. If you like this video, if this helps you out, helps you change your mindset a little bit, leave a comment down below, hit the like button, subscribe, and the notification bell. If you do leave a comment, I will respond every single time. Check the track record. I always do. I am live on Instagram, Facebook, X, and LinkedIn as well. And both on LinkedIn and my website. Then I also do two blogs a week. Don't forget, every single Friday, I do a live weekly Q&A webinar. Ask me anything about professional growth or career assistance, and you get me for an hour in a group setting. That's what I'm here for. That link is down below as well. And if you're looking for some one-on-one career coaching, start with the quiz that's linked in the description. And lastly, if you maybe have a burning question or want to have a video chat about a particular topic, hit me up on Connect, which is linked in the description as well. I appreciate you joining me today. Thank you. And until next time, enjoy.